Let's simplify the expression 1/3 plus 1/4 squared divided by 1/2 using order of operations. To do it, we'll first focus and simplify the expressions within the parentheses. In other words, we'll add the fractions in parentheses. Next, we'll use exponents to simplify that to a single fraction, and then we'll perform division on the resulting fraction divided by 1/2. So to begin, we'd like to work within the parentheses, and we see that 1/3 plus 1/4 are two fractions that when adding, we need common denominators. So let's first convert these fractions to equivalent fractions with common denominators and then add them together. So let's write this down. We'll write down everything else that we're going to be doing, but let's convert 1/3 and 1/4. A fraction that would have a common denominator between 3 and 4, the common denominator would have to be the smallest number that both 3 and 4 go into. Well, the smallest number 3 and 4 go into is 12. So we'd like to switch both of these fractions to equivalent fractions with 12 in the bottom. To do so, we'll multiply 1/3, 1 and 3 by some number, so the bottom will be 12. So we'll multiply 3 by 4 to get 12, and therefore multiply the top by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. Similarly, 1/4, we would need to multiply the bottom by 3 to get 12, so we'll multiply the top by 3, so 1 times 3 becomes 3. Here's the new equivalent fractions. Adding these fractions together, we would have 4/12 plus 3/12, and now that we have common denominators, this would become 4 plus 3 over 12 that we're squaring, and then dividing by 1/2. Scroll this down. So 4 plus 3 becomes 7 over 12 that we're squaring, and then dividing by 1/2. All right. Our next goal will be to square the 7/12, since that comes before division in our order of operations. That said, 7/12 squared means 7 over 12 multiplied by 7 over 12. And then we'll divide that by 1/2. Since we cannot reduce or cancel any fractions, we'll simply multiply numerators and denominators, since that's how we multiply fractions. So 7 times 7 is 49, and 12 times 12 is 144, divided by 1/2. Oops. Next, recalling how to divide fractions, we'll write it up here to save room. To divide fractions, we'll write the first fraction again, 49 over 144, and change divide to a multiply, and invert or flip or find the reciprocal of the second fraction, which will become 2 over 1. Now, we have another multiplying problem, and sure enough, we could multiply across. However, we do realize that we can cross-cancel and slightly reduce these fractions. For example, 2 goes into itself once, and into 144 72 times. So 49 over 72 multiplied by 1 over 1, now we'll multiply across. To get 49 times 1 is 49, and 72 times 1 is 72. Our final answer fraction, since it cannot be reduced, is 49 over 72.